It's hard to believe that there are homeless people in Singapore, but every year about 140 homeless people are picked up by the government's Destitute Persons Service. Some of these would be considered chronic homeless as they have been out in the streets for a long period of time. Are they there by choice or circumstance? And how do they live day to day? Like 51-year-old Raymond, the former technical manager became homeless 2 years ago when he divorced and the engineering company where he worked and lived folded. Then he was earning about US $1,200 a month. Raymond has been living in a shelter for the past 3 months, but before that he would sleep at parks and sometimes at the airport where his 2 children, aged 7 and 11, would join him on weekends.
I just have the ground sheet. They sleep on the floor. I do get sleeping bag for them. And I'll make sure they lie down. Then I sit down and watch over them over the night.
When your children were sleeping out there, how did they receive it?
Not so well, but they still try to adapt to it. They try all means, because I already asked them many times, would you like to go back, stay with the mother? They said no. They would rather stay with the father. This is why I'm still doing it.
Raymond, who has, for the past 3 months, been staying at a temporary shelter run by New Hope Community Services. In terms of finding accommodation for yourself, tell me what were the options that you went through to find?
I have called a lot of homes, halfway house or 3/4 house. And then there are too many criteria that for an ordinary person that don't meet. For example, you got to be over 60, you got to have public assistance, you got to be of some physically deformed or mentally problem like dementia or physically handicapped.
Raymond's current stay at New Hope's 3/4 way house is not a permanent solution. Those staying here have been told they can only do so for 3 months. Why does New Hope insist on a deadline for its residents to find a job and accommodation, or they'll be thrown out there on the streets?
If they were to given the chance to stay here for an unlimited period of time, then they will not move. So the whole purpose of a deadline is for them to get a job, subsequently they're able to find their own accommodation and start a lifestyle within society. And so we've never put anybody out in the times that we've been operating in here.
I understand that you were supposed to leave the 3/4 way house today. What are your plans?
If I were to leave today, I will probably dump all the things in my. We'll find a place to dump all my things in the front workshop or whatever it is, and then I'll be back on the street again.
Okay, but what about finding a job? What are some of the jobs that you have found but that you haven't taken?
Okay, like to work in the coffee shop, cleaner in the coffee shop, or to work as in the McDonald's, or to be a laborer like.
Why have you rejected these jobs?
I rejected it because I have a broken ligament. I broke my back, so I cannot do any hard work or bending work.